G'day all, welcome back to the G-Man Show. Thanks once again for joining me back on the internet today. We're talking about machete crime in Australia and more specifically Victoria and even more specifically Melbourne. It's been quite rife recently. The government now has rolled out the machete ban, so let's see how that's going to change things here.
One of the most ridiculous political ideas I think I have ever heard of, and that is being supported, it seems, by senior Victorian police. Now, this idea involves machetes, those long single-bladed weapons of choice by out-of-control teenage crime gangs, where they are not only used to terrify people woken in the dead of night by home invaders, threatening them and stealing their cars and phones, also they use them all around the country on their own gang members. Now, this is 2025, right across Melbourne and increasingly into what is seen as wealthy regional centres in places like the southeastern suburbs of Melbourne and beyond. So bad is this. This is Australia, by the way, not apartheid South Africa or South.
Whoa, Steve-O, saying it how it is. You know, people call him racist. Call me racist just for stating pure facts. I think it's very unfortunate for the parents of these kids who have come over to Australia. They've immigrated from countries with a lot of conflict, a lot of violence. They come over for a better life, and their kids just take up the mantle over here, perpetrating horrendous crimes, such as breaking and entering into people's houses, home invasions, stealing cars, terrifying the public in certain suburbs in Melbourne. That's why they never say the backgrounds of these kids, but you can definitely work it out by seeing the videos. I'll say no more.
Sudan, but Melbourne. So bad that this carrying of machetes has become something that the Labor government, after years of living in denial about teenage crime gangs, have suddenly decided they need to do something about it. Parliament a few weeks back banned the sale of machetes in hardware stores, putting the onus on the shopkeepers to take them off the shelves. Only problem with that was anyone who didn't have one already and needed a new one, well, they simply went online and bought one and had it home delivered probably within a day.
Now, spot on. Once again, this is going to do absolutely nothing apart from, as you said, put the responsibility onto business owners to try and curb crime. Now, I'm not sure what people would use machetes for in day-to-day life. Gardening, maybe whacking some very stubborn weeds. But how is banning this going to change anything? You think these kids or people are going to go, you know what, we can't get our machetes anymore, or this particular bladed weapon easily. I'm just going to stop now. I'm going to retire from a life of violent gang or warfare and just play PlayStation at home. Nothing to see here anymore. As you said, people will just import them if they want to get them, or they'll just use another weapon. It's not solving the actual crisis and the issue in itself, in my honest opinion. How do you put the fear of God into these people doing these sort of crimes? You lock them up and you throw away the key. All right, a lot of these people, they go commit these crimes, attack people, attack other kids from other gangs or whatever it is, and they get a slap on the wrist or a few years in jail, and they're back out on the streets. Back on the streets, learn nothing, probably hardened from their time in the prison system, and they're coming back out and they're worse than ever. What do? Well, people say, gee, man, you're a racist. Put them on a boat somewhere and just send that boat off. All right, it's get out of here. We don't want this sort of stuff here. Once again, nothing against immigrants. I really don't. I can understand why people want to come to Australia. It's a great country that has a lot of opportunities that other countries do not afford. People can come here, and if they put in hard enough work, they can have a really great life. Or even if they don't put in hard work, they'll have a better quality of life than what they're getting in these other war-torn countries. So let me just get that straight. But this is the problem with the kids that have grown up here and want to act like they're in South Central Los Angeles with the Bloods and the Crips gang, and they want to do all this stupid crime that has no purpose. There's no purpose to this apart from kids without a cause trying to become some part of a gang and fight for the gang's honour. Alternatively to that, kids going out and committing crime to make money. So going and stealing cars, going out and home invasion, stealing all sorts of valuables from homes to go and fence them off somewhere. That's why they're doing it. They're doing it for money. and clout.
Very smart state government, after introducing their useless sale ban, decided theft would, from September, make it illegal to carry such a weapon. Now, why you would legally be able to wander around the suburbs at night with a long-bladed weapon is beyond me. But no, it would become illegal to do that from September, so 4 weeks away. Now, why the delay? No one, including police, could quite work that out. But in 4 weeks' time, that's from tomorrow, 4 weeks tomorrow, this will become law. Do I think it'll...
I don't know how... I don't think it's illegal to wander around the streets at night with holding such an item, obviously with bad intent. But you got to ask, why is there a delay in it then? Not that it's going to change anything, but why is it 4 weeks? Is it to give shop owners the opportunity to put processes in place to wind down importing machetes and stocking them, etc.? That's the only thing that I could think of. But yeah, I don't know. As I said, I think it's a complete waste of time, money, effort from the government, public servants trying to implement this and legislate it and all that sort of stuff. It's not going to change anything. They're still going to get them. Or, as I said, they'll just use another item, another weapon, another everyday item, and soon they'll be banning forks and spoons if they start using those.
Stop 13 and 14-year-olds, many from dysfunctional families or in out-of-home care, from doing exactly that? No, I don't. But today, one of the ridiculously stupid ideas I think I've ever heard of was endorsed by one of the state's top police officers, a bloke by the name of Brett Curran. Now, I believe Brett Curran is a fine police officer, and he's probably doing the bidding of even more senior police who are doing the bidding of their delusional political masters.
All right, so what's he saying here? It says, Machete drop-off points revealed ahead of 3-month amnesty to dispose of soon-to-be illegal weapons. And after this report, I've got a short news article talking about this in a little bit more detail, that they're going to have bins around certain hotspots in certain suburbs, and people can just go and put them in that bin. That's not going to happen. Who's going to go and do that? They're going to hold on. They're going to hold on to them. They're going to go, yeah, you know what? There's a ban now, everybody. We're law-abiding citizens. Our days of perpetrating these crimes are over. Let's go and put our machete in the bin down at the police station. Not going to happen.
Curran was wheeled out to announce that from September 1, outside dozens of suburban and country police stations, there would be machete bins. I'm not making this up. Machete bins for machete owners who don't use them for cutting bamboo, but to try and cut people's arms off to hand them in. That's what you do. You go to the machete bin. The police officer said these bins provide an opportunity for families who might be concerned about their kids and machetes and knives. Bring them down to the centre and put them in the bins.
Oh, yeah, Mum and Dad just found their son under their son's bed, massive machete in the cupboard somewhere, hidden behind under his clothes or shoes. Yeah, let's just take him down, admit that my own son, dub him in, or daughter even, who knows, is part of this problem, and let's just go hand him in. And also do the right thing and put the machetes in the bins. People, as I said, people are not going to do this. I'll be interested to see how many. Sure, maybe you might get a few people dropping them off. Maybe people who aren't even using them for these sorts of things. It's crazy.
Well, there you go. A nice family outing to dispose of a weapon you might have used the night before to attack a rival gang member or terrorise an innocent member of the public. You can hold hands with Mum and Dad, walk down to the police station and hand it in. I mean, seriously? Curran then had a coming to Jesus moment when he conceded the weapons weren't simply going to disappear and that criminals would probably find new weapons, including, and he gives a tip here, those readily available in your kitchen. He means knives. Now, I know a few operational police. If they were watching this nonsense today, it would probably hasten their decision to quit the police force. Then up popped Premier Jacinta Allen, with typical lack of understanding of the real world, saying the bins would give parents the chance to strip the dangerous knives from their troublemaking teenagers. She went on, as a parent, this is her speaking, I know kids can be challenging from time to time when they've got something they want to do. What, Premier? Invade shopping centres in broad daylight and attack an innocent man and try and steal his phone, cutting him so bad.
That's it. And it's not even attacking innocent people. It's them fighting each other and just creating complete unrest in society, making people scared to go down to the shops, to go down to the shopping centre, to go and have a day out or whatever it may be. You're worried, you're looking over your shoulder, they're going to be these kids running around thinking they're in South Central LA. My view on this, if someone has it in them to make the decision, they're going to get any sort of weapon like that. It doesn't even have to be a machete. And use it on another person, serious psychological problems there. Think about it. I couldn't even conceive the idea of hitting anyone with any weapon, let alone a machete and cutting arms off and stuff like that. It is just bizarre to me. And you see on the news every week, there's another story of this. It's always at one of the big shopping centres, High Point, Chadstone, Doncaster. The list goes on about these kids without a cause, fighting for something, fighting for some honour. It makes no sense to me. But for someone who's going to be able to do that, take a weapon to someone, hit them with it, and not even think about the repercussions of it, they need to be in jail. They need to be locked away. That key needs to be thrown away. I'll go even one step further. As I said, put them all on a barge and send it off. Let it to go and float in the middle of the ocean somewhere to make it our problem.
Badly, he almost had his hand amputated. That sort of kids doing things. Or steal a Mercedes out of a garage at the point of a machete and take it on a dangerous police joyride where at least one innocent Victorian has already lost their life in a car crash. That's sort of jolly teenage fun. And can I ask what sort of parents are having a conversation that goes a little like this? Johnny, have you got a machete? Because the nice policeman wants you and me to have a family trip down to the police station to put it in one of Jacinta Allen's machete bins. Teenager, but Mum, what happens if they recognise me from the 250 home invasions I've been involved in using my favourite machete and they arrest me? I mean, seriously, the world has gone mad.
Complete nanny state we're living in here, that's for sure. So I'll jump on to the next short report about this, and once again, it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So I don't know if these people think about
everyone
how
knows
this
that China
looks.
is into hacking.
The PRC has a bigger hacking program.
But did people think about how this looks? Does it actually solve a problem? It's sort of come down on crime very, very hard. Very, very hard. Have some brutal rules. If you're going to go into a shop and use a weapon like that on someone, you're out of the country. Gone. That's it.
Dozens of police stations in prominent crime hotspots will soon be home to new Machete amnesty bins. It's part of a plan to get the deadly blades off our streets, but critics say it's unlikely to work and may even backfire.
These heavy-duty steel bins will pop up at police stations from September 1st, offering amnesty when the possession of machetes becomes illegal.
So who's going to go and do that? So look at this. It's even if they wanted to, they said, all right, you know what? I've done some bad things. I'm going to quit while I'm ahead. I haven't been caught. All right, I'm done now. The police are coming down on it. They want to go and put it in the bin. It's probably surrounded by CCTV, and that person is going to risk being caught, and rightfully so. But why would you go and put yourself at risk to do that, apart from just leave it at home under your bed, or put it in the garage somewhere and hide it? And there you go.
Provide an opportunity for families who might be concerned about the things their kids have.
They'll be at 45 stations, including in crime hotspots like Dandenong, Cranbourne and Geelong.
10% of our victims are children, and children make up 25% of our offenders, so that's a concerning figure.
But there are fears the 24-hour CCTV is too intimidating for young people.
We need to give them some kind of carrot rather than just focusing on the stick.
Having them out the front, you're not actually sending any message that it's okay to drop them off.
The Les Twentyman Foundation ran its own successful knife buyback program in 2006.
We did that through having an engagement with a young person, and they exchanged a knife for some kind of incentive, so a movie ticket or ticket to the footy.
The state government is hoping...
So then what do they start doing then? What? Stealing machetes to go and then trade them in? I don't know. That's me being cynical there. I mean, there's always been crime, but it's just out of hand at the moment. Now, whether or not it wasn't reported very heavily previously, the last year or so, it just seems like there is an article, there's a news report every single night of the week, or if not every week, mostly in Melbourne.
Its program will be as successful as Australia's gun amnesty in 1996.
There's no excuse, and there are significant penalties that will apply when the amnesty concludes.
There are also concerns that the bins themselves will be targeted by criminals, but Youth Foundation say it's more likely they'll sit empty for the full 3 months.
Well, if the program remains the same at the moment, then I don't think they're going to have many blades in them, unfortunately.
Bethan Yeoman, 7 News.
All right, there we go, guys. Halfway through, if you're enjoying the content today and my thoughts on it, put your thoughts in the comment. I want to hear from you. Let's have a discussion about it. Also, consider subscribing to the channel. We're getting some good growth recently, so let's keep that going. And if I could ask you to like and share and comment and all that sort of stuff, it helps get me out there more. All right, so let's move on to the next segment. And this is about crime that happened actually yesterday. Gangland style assassination, which are rife as well in Melbourne. And there's a lot of gangs and a lot of people in organised crime, and there's been a spike in all this sort of execution type stuff.
It's Friday in Melbourne, where a gunman is on the run this morning after the daylight execution-style shooting of a 21-year-old man.
Let's go live to Today Melbourne reporter Christina Hearn. Chris, there are fears of retaliation attacks now.
Yeah, real fears, Sarah, because the victim, 21-year-old Ethan Borsanos, was an associate of tobacco kingpin Kazem Hamed.
Once again, so I'm not going to get off topic here. Okay, so I've made a few videos about this, about the tobacco black market, all right, because this has been growing, it's been exploding at an exponential rate due to the fact that the government has very high taxes on cigarettes here. Like 70% of the price of, say, a $40 packet of cigarette is tax. So take that tax away, you're probably getting the smokes for the same price that these crime syndicates are pushing them out through those independent tobacco stores and independent grocers. You can get them anywhere. Why is this? Why am I calling this out? Because this is just about, you can't really say anything other than this, but this all exists due to the government overreaching with tax. That's it. And then, so this is an indirect outcome of people getting involved in this lifestyle to make a quick buck.
He was also a suspect in the execution-style murder of Sam the Punisher Abdul Rahim, who was gunned down in very similar circumstances in January this year. This shooting brought terror to a suburban street in Woolert. It was 9 a.m. when Borsanos was heading to court to appear on drugs and weapons charges when he was murdered in a hail of bullets in his BMW. Family members rushed to the scene, including his fiancée, who was inconsolable, and his father, who is a retired Victorian police officer. A nearby childcare centre had to be placed into lockdown.
Look at where we're living, guys. That's what happened to this country. So we have all these organised crime. I know that there has been that, but that used to always operate under a veil of silence and secrecy. This is just blatant stuff going on here. We had all the Gangland stuff that's been going on forever, especially in the 2000s, which was all over the news and all that, but that was over narcotics. Now, this is over cigarettes. So cigarettes, this whole trade could just almost be shut down overnight if the government wasn't charging so much tax on cigarettes. So they're indirectly causing it. But look at where we're living. Middle of the day, cars burning out on the street in front of childcare centres. You got this kid who lived by the sword, died by the sword. It might sound harsh, but obviously he's been involved in some pretty serious and heavy stuff as well. So his family are now left devastated. So I can't understand the mindset of young kids. Maybe they feel like they don't have any other options, or they just want to live that lifestyle and have a fast buck. And getting into this thinking you're going to get out of it unscathed. You might get some quick dollars, live an exciting life, looking over your shoulder. I don't know who'd want to do that, but you're going to get it. And it's unfortunate. And now this person's family, mum and dad and all of that, he'd probably been put in danger too, because he got people coming to his house, putting him out of his misery just about, or putting him not even in the hospital. They're trying to kill him, and did, in the driveway.
A burnt-out four-wheel drive found in nearby reservoir. Police are now examining whether that is connected, a possible getaway car, with, of course, fears this Gangland war is escalating. Sarah.
Oh, it's going to go off. I mean, as I said, there's big money in this tobacco. Big money in it. And I made a couple of videos about it over the last couple of weeks. You can find them on my channel. If you just want to go to the channel page and take a search of tobacco and black market, you'll find them. People are going and buying these cigarettes because they don't want to pay the exorbitant amount of prices that over-the-counter from legitimate sources are charging. Like if you want a packet of 25 Winfields, you're probably looking over $50. So someone who's got a heavy smoking habit could smoke one of those a day easy. We can just go down to the local, get their mannies, get their double happiness for $10. $10 a pack. So it's a huge problem. And it's not going to go anywhere anytime soon, unfortunately. But my true belief is, this is going to escalate because there's so much dollars on the line. I think it's really, really sad to see this happening in Melbourne.
Chris, thank you. New South Wales Police have cracked down on organised crime in Sydney. 4 men charged in a Task Force Falcon raid. Pictures just in show officers making an arrest at Narellan, where a 21-year-old male driver was charged with possessing a firearm and driving with a suspended licence. After weeks of searching, South Australian police say they've found the missing head of alleged murder victim Julian Story. A dog walker unearthing the remains kilometres from where his body was found and somewhere police hadn't yet searched. Tamika Chesser, a former Beauty and the Geek contestant, is charged with his alleged murder. Wow,
they didn't say much about that on the news. I don't know what's going on in this country. As I said, it's going to the dogs. Going to the dogs. This sort of stuff, you'll barely even hear about anything like this. There's someone being ended every single day.
The identity of the Sydney-based childcare worker charged with allegedly abusing 10 young boys has been revealed as 26-year-old David William James. His name and work locations had been kept secret by the courts until yesterday, with police notifying parents. Hang on.
Simply put, the victims and their families are our key priority. If you have not heard from the AFP, it is because we have no evidence which has linked your family to this man's offending.
Police say James worked at 58 locations between March 2018 and September 2024. 4 of those spots were in Sydney's north, and we will have Acting Assistant Commissioner Brett James from the AFP on a little later on this morning. The Supreme Court is set to
There's been a lot of that going on lately. There was some other guy who was completely rife with it and had dozens of counts of PDF file type behaviour. So there are calls now for men to sort of be banned from childcare centres. I do feel bad for those people who are doing the right thing. They're not perverted people who are doing this just unconscionable conduct and more or less defiling the most innocent and vulnerable in society, being little kids at childcare. So now that's going to cause a whole bunch of people, if they bring this in, to either be ostracised from work. But what's with background checks? Are they doing background checks on everybody, not just the men, but everybody who goes into work in these centres? Now, I know that this stuff gets uncovered after the fact, but surely there are some warning signs with these people. Another thing I want to talk about on that, the absolute damage that it does to the entire family and breaks down the trust of mums and dads who think that their kids are being well looked after and all these sorts of things that happen. It's disgusting. And all these guys should be put in jail for life, not identities protected. And the thing is, now they're going to have a bad time when they go to jail. It's going to be very, very bad for them. So they'll get their own, but I don't know. This just seems like, once again, something that's been prolific over the last few months here.
And down its decision on a pro-Palestinian demonstration pitched to shut down the Harbour Bridge on Sunday. Live to Today Sydney reporter Sarah Stewart. Sarah, what are police concerned about?
Well, Jane, it all comes down to safety. Police say they cannot guarantee the safety of the protesters, of members of the public, and also emergency services. They say they want the protest to be moved to a different location, but the protesters are adamant they are gathering on the Sydney Harbour Bridge on Sunday to send a powerful message. This will head to the Supreme Court at lunchtime today. Both cases will present their arguments. The judgment will be handed down. Protesters say Plan A is to march on the bridge, but at the moment they don't have a Plan B, Jane.
Sarah, thank you. Meanwhile,
as I said, what's going on in this country? You watch the news; it's just a complete basket case. You know, it's turning into a third world. And now, as I said, I don't have a lot of knowledge on the whole Gaza and all that sort of thing. I don't have an opinion on it. I don't want to talk about it because it doesn't affect me. It's something that's happening on the other side of the world. I can understand people living here from those backgrounds who are affected and angry about it. But what's protesting here going to do about it? It doesn't do anything. I've been ranting about this the last couple of days. All it does is creates great disruption for people trying to get to work. There might be medical emergencies, ambulances, or police that need to get to somewhere, or fire brigade. They can't get there. So it causes more problems. It's people getting behind a social justice warrior cause. And I'm not talking about those who are from those countries, can understand that. It's people here in Australia who have no skin in the game in that, and they want to become part of that cause to cause as much disruption as possible. As I said, go over there and duck and weave down the Gaza Strip protesting, because it's not going to do anything here. All it does is annoy everybody. It disrupts people from getting to work. It disrupts people from having access to emergency services. There was one instance recently with these protests where a woman couldn't get to hospital. She's just about to give birth, and the baby had to be delivered on the side of the road.
In Melbourne, a major police operation is planned for this Sunday, with hundreds of officers expected to be diverted from core duties to stop a planned protest from blocking the King Street Bridge. Pro-Palestine activists are vowing to shut down the key route, raising fears over access for emergency services.
There you go.
Queensland is...
So we're basically living in a third world country now with all this stuff going on. This whole video is just showing you just how far Australia is falling and continuing to fall. You hear about this every single day. Now, people say they're peaceful protests. I beg to differ. You've seen video footage of them kicking windows in and smashing doors off the hood and off the hinges and damaging cars, getting aggressive with people who are telling them to get out of their way. They want to get to work. Spray painting. The list goes on. Then we need to spend money on police. So all these police resources that could be used somewhere else, they have to be there to monitor these people protesting. They're not peaceful protests. They're completely disruptive protests.
Falling behind on construction deadlines. The Productivity Commission finding at least 77,000 homes could have been built without union red tape delays. The 9% productivity drop since 2018 is a concerning figure for the state, which could fall short on infrastructure demands for the 2032 Olympic Games.
What do you know? So, yep, obviously stuff going on there with the CFMEU. Let's talk about the big thing, though. We've got hundreds of thousands of people coming in every year. We have a constrained supply of properties for people if you're living here to get rent, let alone be able to buy one if you're in a position to buy one. And we have construction not being able to keep up with that demand. So what do we do there? Let's just go and import hundreds of thousands of more people. No, G-man, that doesn't affect the housing market at all. What are you talking about? They've got to live somewhere. I actually feel bad for these immigrants coming over. Most of them, 99.9% of them, law-abiding citizens, by the way. So this whole thing isn't about me carrying on that everyone who's an immigrant is a criminal or is doing bad things. No. Where are they going to live? They're going to come here. Number one, we're not doing well here. Okay, the economy is not good. There's a lot of competition for work. That increases the competition. People coming here maybe not being able to get jobs. And then also put into a rental trap, paying for rents $500, $600, $700, $800 a week, thinking that they're coming to the lucky countries. I would feel scammed if I was an immigrant who'd paid tens of thousands of dollars in visa and all this sort of stuff to come across. It needs to stop. We need to stop, but we won't, because that'll be racist. That'll be racist, and we can't seem to be racist, apparently.
Bleak warning this morning from Australia's spy chief. Foreign threats have been trying to steal secrets at levels greater than during the Cold War. Live to Today Federal Politics reporter Liz Daniels. Liz, one of the targets has been our AUKUS secrets.
It has been, Jane, hunting down the most sensitive classified defence capabilities of not only us but our closest allies, a threat that was revealed last night by ASIO Director General Mike Burgess, who said the agency had made 24 major espionage disruptions in the space of 3 years alone, cases that attacked all levels of the community, including a hack on a law firm that was involved in a government lawsuit, and another where spies were trying to infiltrate a media outlet to intercept stories. In this major address came this bleak warning.
We are seeing foreign intelligence services taking a very unhealthy interest in AUKUS and its associated capabilities. We will help defend AUKUS to ensure it is delivered without compromise.
A line of defence that is not cheap, though, Jane. For the first time, the cost of espionage has been revealed, a $12.5 billion hit in 1 year alone.
Liz, thank you.
Obviously pretty light on details there. But yeah, so what, $12.5 billion, how does that cost? I'm trying to understand. Is it damage done from secrets being leaked or whatever it may be? What a world we live in.
It could be just a matter of hours until Australian exporters find...
All right. I'm going to leave it there. If you guys want to watch the rest, this is starting to talk about US news and tariff and all that sort of stuff. Don't want to go there today. Thank you very much for watching. I'll put these links in the video description if you want to watch them without me ranting over it. Thank you very much for watching. And once again, consider subbing to the channel, liking and sharing. See you in the next one.